Prahladananda Swami Shri Guru Shri Grami Ram Vishnu Bhrai Krishna Gosai Budaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vicharne Nirvishesha Shintivadi Paschadhyadesha Om Ayantamanandasya Garanjana Salakaya Chaksuramalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chityanamanovishyam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Danti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Savarnatam Sahana Raghunatam Vikam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pradina Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahana Lalita Shri Visakham Vidam Shah Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gauraki Radhe Vrindavani Shri Krishna Vasudhi Devi Ramani Priyange Panchakapa Drivesha Kripastu Vyekata Aditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitinanda Chaitanya Radha Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 2, Divinity Divine Service, text number 6. Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Ito Bhaktira Okshide Yato Bhaktira Okshide Aitukya Pratiyata Aitukya Pratiyata Yatma Suprasidati Yatma Suprasidati Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Ito Bhaktira Okshide Yato Bhaktira Okshide Aitukya Pratiyata Aitukya Pratiyata Yatma Suprasidati Yatma Suprasidati Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Yato Bhaktira Okshade Aitukya Pratiyata Aitukya Pratiyata Yatma Suprasidati Yatma Suprasidati Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Yato Bhaktira Okshade Yato Bhaktira Okshade Aitukya Pratiyata Aitukya Pratiyata Yatma Suprasidati Yatma Suprasidati Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Yato Bhaktira Okshade Aitukya Pratiyata Yatma Suprasidati. Ladies.
Savai Pumsam Parodharmo
Savai Pumsam Parodharmo
Yato Bhaktir Adokshate
Yato Bhaktir Adokshate
Ahaitukya Apratihata
Aitukya Pratiyata
Yatma Suprasidati
Yatma Suprasidati Sa that by certainly Pumsam for humankind, for mankind Aituki, causeless, apratihata, unbroken, yaya, by which Atma, the self, supersedity, completely satisfied. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The supreme occupation, Dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can obtain his loving service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Please repeat. The supreme occupation, Dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can obtain the loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. To Prabhupada's purport. In this statement, Sri Sutta Goswami answers the first question of the sages of Namaskar. The sages asked him to summarize the whole range of revealed scriptures and present the most essential part so that fallen people or the people in general might easily take it up. The Vedas prescribe two different types of occupation for the human being. One is called Pravritti Marga, or the path of sense enjoyment, and the other is called Nivritti Marga, or the path of renunciation. The path of enjoyment is inferior, and the path of sacrifice, the supreme cause, is superior. The material existence of a living being is a diseased condition of actual life. Actual life is spiritual existence, or Brahma Buddha existence, where life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Material existence is temporary, illusory, and full of miseries. There is no happiness at all. There is just a futile attempt to get rid of the miseries, and temporary succession of miseries is falsely called happiness. Therefore, the path of progressive material enjoyment, which is temporary, miserable, and illusory, is inferior. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which leads one to eternal, blissful, and all-cognizant life, is called the superior quality of occupation. This is sometimes polluted when mixed with the inferior quality. For example, adoption of devotional service and material gain is certainly an obstruction to the progressive path of renunciation. Renunciation or abnegation for ultimate good is certainly a better occupation than enjoyment in the diseased condition of life. Such enjoyment only aggravates the symptoms of disease and increases its duration. Therefore, devotional service to the Lord must be pure in quality, that is, without the least desire for material enjoyment. One should therefore accept the superior quality of occupation in the form of devotional service of the Lord, without any tinge of unnecessary desire, fruitive activities, and philosophical speculation. This alone can lead one to perpetual solace in his service. We have purposely denoted Dharma as occupation because the root meaning of the word Dharma is that which sustains one's existence. A living being's substance of existence is to coordinate his activities with his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is the central pivot of living beings, and he is the all-attractive living entity or eternal form amongst all other living beings or eternal forms. Each and every living being has his eternal form in this spiritual existence, and Krishna is the eternal attraction for all of them. Krishna is the complete whole, and everything else is his part and parcel. The relation is one of the servant and the served. It is transcendental and completely distinct from our experience of material existence. This relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progresses. Everyone should engage himself in that transcendental loving service of the Lord, even in the present conditional state of material existence. That will gradually give one the clue to actual life, please him complete satisfaction. Savai pumso paro dharmo yuto bhaktir hokshide ahaitu kyapatiyata yatmas prasidati. Supreme occupational dharma for all humanity is that which men can obtain through the loving devotional service under the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tiramare Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shnubhadi Paschadhyade Satarana. At the beginning of this Bhagavatam, the first canto, the first couple of chapters, the sages of Naimisharanya, they ask different questions. And the rest of the Bhagavatam is an answer to the questions. And this is the first question of this commentary. That what is the essence of all the scriptures? As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that Yomam evam asamudo janati purushottama sarvavit bhajante mam sarvabhavena bharata. That anyone who knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is said to be the knower of everything. And therefore he engages himself in full devotional service. Iti bhuyatma shastram idam yuktva mayanaga etam bhutva buddhimasyat krita kritasvarata. That this is the most confidential part of all the Vedic scriptures, that anyone who knows this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Sometimes, when we're executing devotional service, we may wonder, is this the actual perfection of life? Is this if we think like that, if we bother to think about what we're doing. And then we may wonder, well, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm coming to the program, and I seem to be still miserable. So what's the problem with the program? We may not deeply think about what my problem is, because most of us, if we knew what our problem is, we'd probably try to solve it. So here it says, as it says in many other parts, that if Krishna is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, then we can only realize it if we follow the process by which Krishna reveals himself. And here it says that our service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted. Now Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that basically speaking, what we're here in the class to find out is not necessarily to be entertained. Of course, there are different ways of entertaining people. One of them is to just tell irrelevant, frivolous jokes, and everyone will find it quite amusing. The other is to entertain people by somehow or another capturing their intelligence and giving them some opportunity for at least intellectually to become enlightened what we're doing here. In other words, for those who are serious about Krishna consciousness, becoming conscious of Krishna, through the process of serving him with devotion, then if we get some insight into how to serve Krishna with devotion so that we become more Krishna conscious, that may capture our intelligence and our imagination, and then we might put it into practice. So, as repeated in different ways, that devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted. As Krishna says, Tesham sadatam yuktanam bhajantam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted. So that means uninterrupted. And who worship me with love, unmotivated. Now, of course, who can say that our devotional service, who can say here that their devotional service is uninterrupted and unmotivated? That we're simply here out of love. And not only here, when we're not here or anywhere, everything we do is simply out of love for Krishna. There's no other motivation. Whether they fed me for 2 weeks or not, I'd still be here chanting the holy names out of love. I wouldn't even notice whether I was eating or not. But there's a path to come to that platform. And that platform is explained that there are two different types of bhakti. There's pure bhakti, which is our goal, and we're performing devotional service, sadhana, to practice, come to this sadhya. In other words, sadhana bhakti and pure bhakti, prema bhakti, are more or less the same thing, but on different levels of maturity. That's like when they have a mango, an unripe mango, and a ripe mango. There's really no, they're both mangoes. It's not that the mango becomes something other than a mango when it ripens, but the taste is sweeter when it's ripe than when it's unripe. Now you may take something like a thread and weave it into a cloth, but the thread is no longer just a thread, it becomes a cloth now. But an unripe mango and a ripe mango are the same, but they're just, one is more mature than the other. Similarly, sadhana bhakti, when mixed with karma and jnana. And how do we know when sadhana bhakti is mixed with karma and jnana? Karma means we have desires. Now, we don't know what our desires are. It's very simple. Simply chant around the japa, and anything that comes to your mind, just write it down on a piece of paper. And after 15, 20 minutes, you might finish your first round. And you might have a whole list of things that you were thinking about. So those are our desires that distract us from simply chanting and hearing. And about mental speculation, well, between those desires, there's probably some commentary our mind is making about what we're doing and why we're doing it, etc. And those can also be considered as part of our mental speculation. Now, the alternative to that is simply to chant and listen. But we can't just chant and listen unless what we're listening to is actually worth listening to. In other words, it is not so easy just to chant and listen, because if we have to listen to ourselves chanting, we might get bored, or we might get depressed. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we become depressed listening to ourselves. Or we get bored. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. It sounds so boring. We wonder, how can I keep this up? So, therefore it says here that desires is one thing, fruit of action and philosophical speculation. We have to get rid of these things. Tinge of unnecessary desire. We may be more than a little tinge. And fruit of action and philosophical speculation. So we have to become convinced that there's nothing to worry about. Masucha, Krishna says in the 18th chapter, verse 66, that because of our misidentification with the gross and the subtle mind, gross body and the subtle mind, we have so many things to worry about, so many things to lament about, so many things to worry about, and therefore we don't follow Krishna's instruction. Masucha, don't worry. And why shouldn't we worry? Because no matter what we do in the material world, this body is going to die. And at the time of death, everyone is equally. Just like if you're equal. Just like if you're running a race and someone's ahead. But at the end, everyone is dead. Dead last. In other words, no matter what we accomplish in this material world, or whatever we don't accomplish in the material world, ultimately, we don't accomplish anything. Because when we leave this body, we're winding up dead last, like everyone else. We don't take anything with us, except for the reactions of this life, but we take into our next life to try again, to try to become something we're not, namely something special, something powerful, something lovable, something whatever. We try to make this body something special so that others can worship it and we can have a comfortable existence here. But at the end we leave this body and we go to another body in the material world, and no matter what body we get, it's not perfectly comfortable, nor is it perfectly worshipable, nor do the threefold miseries completely disappear, and therefore we haven't really accomplished anything. Now we may go up to the heavenly planets for some time due to pious activities, but we're only there for some period of time, and then we have to come back here and again work to go to the heavenly planets, or if we don't bother working to go to the heavenly planets, then we might go to hell and suffer more than we're suffering here. On the other hand, Masu Chaha, if one actually is convinced that there's nothing to worry about, then one can chant Hare Krishna happily. And what's the result of chanting Hare Krishna happily? Then we have some space to try to feel Krishna's presence in his name. Then we become receptive to the name. Now if the name and Krishna are not different, the name of Srimati Radharani are not different, then Krishna is actually present. So what's our problem? Why don't we experience Krishna's presence? Because our feelings are covered by fruit of desires, material desires. They cover our feelings, our anxiety, our lamentations. The material energy covers our feelings, and therefore the original spiritual ability, the original soul, the consciousness of the soul cannot experience Krishna consciousness, the presence of Krishna in his name. Therefore Krishna says, Dumena Vriyate Vanir, Itar Darasho Malena Cha, Itar Vanevrita Garvas, Itar Tenegam Arvita. Just like a mirror is covered by dust, or the embryo is covered by the womb, or the fire is covered by smoke, so living entity is covered by different degrees of lust. Aritam Gyana Etena, Gyana no Nitivarina, Karma Rupena Kontya, Dusprena Anulena Cha. Thus the man's pure consciousness is covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. In other words, our attachment to this body and the pushing of the body, not only physically but mentally also, that's why we're pushed from one thought to the next, attachment from one thought to the next, is suffering. Along with it comes some experience of anxiety, which Krishna compares to burning. Therefore, as long as we remain attached to material concepts of life, namely I am this body, and things in relation to this body and mind, then we'll try to build a wall of protection around ourselves. Sometimes it's called society, friendship, and love. Basically, it used to be families build a wall of protection. As Shukadeva Goswami was talking to Pariksha Maharaj, Pariksha Maharaj said, I'm about to die, what should I do? So Shukadeva Goswami said, well, most people know that they're about to die, so they're inquiring from each other what to do to protect ourselves. Protect ourselves in what way? Nidriyan riyate naktam pavavayen chivavaya. Divya charteya rajan katumba bharanenava. At night, nidriya riyate naktam. They're sleeping to get the energy for the next day so they can fulfill their desires. Because sleeping is a kind of also rest from all of our struggles against material nature and our unsuccessful attempt to fulfill all our desires the day before. We go to sleep, we get a rest, we wake up refreshed. Now, today I can do it. I'm empowered. Even Krishna won't be able to stop me today. And then we struggle the whole day and we get tired and we say, all right, let me take some rest, get some energy next day to continue on the fight against material nature. Nidriyan riyate naktam bhavamayena. And sex life is there. Sex life originally is so we can reproduce and get some soldiers in our fight, struggle against material nature. Now it's just for temporary sense gratification, which is even more disappointing. Because one gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and then one has to get disease and more enemies appear. But anyhow, bhavavayena chavavaya. Divya charteya raja. And during the day, divya charteya raja. One is trying to make money, get some resources, somehow or another, get some resources, and then shop to build up our fort. Get a home, get the alarm bells in the home, the video camera in the home, get the dog, get the wife and children as our soldiers, the men, the outpost. Try to build up our fort, get some money, and protect this body and things in relation to this body. But deha kalatradishu atma saneshu satsubi tesham pramato nidanam pashanapina pasha. No matter how hard we struggle, no matter how many wives we get, no matter how many children we have, especially in Kali Yuga, they're all useless. The children wind up, they're just taking drugs. And when we get old enough, then they just put us into an old age home to get rid of us. The persons we work so hard as our soldiers wind up to be our enemies. And although we see all these things taking place, that even our attempts to have a security in this world, because our children fail us, our wife fails us, our husband fails us, even the dog fails us. And even the government, now we have a socialist government, ultimately they don't really provide much. Maybe some social welfare, but ultimately there's no real love and comfort. It's all impersonal. Just maintain the body a few days, keep the thing flapping before we disappear out of it. We can see that, Pashana Pina Pasha, they can see it, but they can't see it. They don't want to see it, because they have no alternative. Therefore they stick unto the last moment, trying to survive in this material world, because they don't know where they're going after they leave this body. Therefore, devotional service is the only pure devotional service, Shana Bhakti, at least beginning with it, and then learning how to become detached by hearing that we're not this body and learning the techniques of becoming detached from our material desires, to apply it within our sadhana bhakti. Pay attention to what we're doing, to change our attitude to what we're doing. Oh, I'm here again. This whole same old class, they're going to tell me I'm not this body. I heard it a million times. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if I'm not this body. This body is the most precious thing I have right now. I'm not going to, all right. I'll do a little devotional service, try to become a little detached, but I just hope there's prasadam today. because I'm not detached, that detached. There better be a place for me to sleep. People better not disturb me too much, because I'm not on that platform. I'm on a gradual platform, and I should become self-realized at least by the end of Kali Yuga. It's a slow, gradual process. And as far as the technique, anyhow, I know something, but I know enough. Now, this idea of actually giving up our material desires, our aspirations, our considerations of reality, what we think is actually going on here, which leads to all kinds of speculations. Why things are happening to me, why things aren't happening to me, why Krishna isn't reciprocating with me, why Krishna is doing things that I don't like him. Maybe it's not Krishna, maybe it's the devil in control. Otherwise Krishna is nice. How can a nice person like me be put into so much difficulty all the time? It's not possible. There must be something wrong with Krishna, or maybe he's not in control. So, if we want to make any progress whatsoever, we have to hear with an open mind and then practice what we heard. Practice the information. Not just chant Hare Krishna, oh God, I got 3 rounds left. What a struggle. The worst struggle of the day. My spiritual master, he made me chant 16 rounds. At least before I took initiation, I promised. So now I got to chant Hare Krishna again. Get these rounds done. But as soon as I start chanting, my mind goes wild, and I suffer more than when I'm not chanting. So let me just get this done. My torture for the day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Whew, that was a hard round. Rather than actually chanting and then listening, to, not just listening for the sake of listening. Oh, I'm listening, how nice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Oh, this is depressing. Hare Rama, but I'm listening. No, listen for the sake of changing the way we're chanting. Make sure we're chanting Hare Krishna, at least. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Oh, this is going too slow. I get it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I'll be all here all day chanting like that. Let me just get this done. Tomorrow I'll do it. Tomorrow I'll chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Oh, I did it. I'm listening, and it's actually the whole mantra. My God, it's not so bad. And what to speak of changing our attitude? Our consciousness when we're chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That actually chant the Shrimati Radharani and Krishna, rather than just chanting to the force, or whatever we're thinking we're chanting. And is Krishna going to surrender to us all at once? Suddenly Krishna will appear with his flute and the whole spiritual... No. But at least we'll be doing what we're supposed to be doing. Surrendering to Krishna, calling out the holy name with some kind of feeling of asking, praying to Krishna. The Hare Krishna mantra is supposed to be a prayer. It's not a machine gun. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, 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 Shnik, Rama, Rama, De, Rama, Rama, De. It's not supposed to be a machine gun. It's supposed to be a prayer to Krishna. Shrimati Radharani and Krishna. And if we're not chanting prayerfully, then we're simply absorbed in the illusory energy, which is normal. Because we're accustomed to it. We're comfortable being in the illusory energy. It's when we try to get out of the illusory energy, we make an effort, then Maya immediately says, why are you trying so hard? You're going to have a heart attack. Just relax. There's so many other things you got to think about. So many duties you have, so many anxieties. Why burning your mind out. Just relax. Don't chant. Don't pray to Krishna. You got so much protection. You have money in the bank. You have friends. You have, if everything else fails, you can go home to your parents. Something will help you. Don't worry so much about Krishna. He's the last resort. Therefore, Matirana Krishna Parataksatova Vito Vipadye Griha Ratana Adanta Gobir Vishitamta Visram Punat Punascharvita Charvadana. Prahlad Maharaj says, Matira means our consciousness. That's the thing that we find the hardest to change. Our consciousness, where we're putting our consciousness. Matirana Krishna, and to put it on Krishna, no one came to the material world to think about Krishna. Everyone came to the material world to forget about Krishna. And we've been trying to do that since time immemorial. Therefore, when we try to put our consciousness on Krishna, naturally, yogas chalati manasa, Maya will try to defeat us by so many different types of allurements. Therefore, people don't put their minds on Krishna. What do they put there? Matirana Krishna parataksatova mito vipadye griha radana. So, they put it on so many things. Why? Because even when we try to put our minds on Krishna at the beginning, it's to solve our problems. We think, all right, my personal self-help book didn't solve my problems. The different types of seminars I went to didn't solve all my problems. My professors at school, they seem to have problems themselves with the speak of solving my problems. And a combination of these things didn't solve my problems either. And what are my problems? Adanta Gobira Vishitamta Visram Punat Punascharvita Charvadana. What do people think they're wrong? They're not getting enough sense gratification. That's what they think their main problem is. And they think sense gratification will actually make them peaceful. Because when we're hungry and we're in anxiety about food, when we eat, we feel peaceful. For that moment. Until we eat too much, then we get sick, and then we're not peaceful anymore. And we ate just about, right amount, then we're in anxiety. Will I get enough food tomorrow? Or for my next meal? And still I have other anxieties. When I cross, I'll still have to look both ways when I cross the street, make sure no car is going to hit me. All my anxieties aren't done. One of them is temporarily done. But then if I get a toothache, then I get another anxiety, what to speak of, the tooth falls out. If I hurt my finger. So the whole world is just an attempt to get out of our miseries. And when we get out of one misery, we think we're successful, but then other miseries we have a whole list of miseries we have to take care of every day. Some big, some small. In order to do that, we have to brush our teeth, we have to try to figure out what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do. So we're constantly trying to figure out how to avoid problems in the material world and maybe find a little satisfaction by solving some of our problems. That's called happiness. So, that will never solve our problems. Tirana Krishna. And that's, even we put our minds on Krishna, but if it's not for the right reason, our problems will still not be solved completely. They'll be mitigated to some degree, because in the presence of Krishna, even with the material desires, then we understand that to a certain extent, Krishna will actually give you some protection. But Vishnu, they don't know that the actual goal of life is to attain Krishna, not to just satisfy desires, which come charvanana. They're just chewing the chew. Whatever desires we feel today, we'll fulfill today, they'll be there tomorrow too. But Matirana Krishna Parataksatova, people don't know or Nitevidu Swartagatim Vivish. They don't know that the goal is Krishna. Darashayaye Bhaya Artamanina. And therefore, things are actually insignificant we're overly concerned about. And why? Adantiko Yatandero Pagiyamanas Tepisha Tandra Urugami Vada. Because we're following blind people. People who are made a big thing out of nothing. Our wealth, our position, our prestige, our material resources, they make such a big thing out of it, but it doesn't help our consciousness. As a matter of fact, the more we're absorbed in these things, the lower our consciousness becomes. And the lower our consciousness becomes, then the less we can chant with feeling the holy name. And therefore, we have to see who is actually my leader, who am I taking shelter of, who do I think is a big person in this world, who do I think is a Mahatma. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj suggests, Naishamitis Tavarurukramangri Sprishat Inarto Bhagavanesha Mihiyasam Pararujevi Shekam Niskinchananam Navidrinita Tadva. That we have to find that person who's Niskinchananam, who doesn't have all this unnecessary baggage carrying around with in his brain, who has no material desires. Naishamatis Tavaruk, and take to their service as such a person. Then we can actually make spiritual advancement, like Srila Prabhupada. His instructions, to take them seriously, apply them, try to chant the holy name in such a way as that we can actually feel Krishna's presence by chanting happily, not worrying about all these things that come through our minds, not taking them seriously. That's within our free will to do that. That's within our ability to will, to just think that this is not reality, this is just part of my entanglement. And give it up and chant Hare Krishna happily. Then if Krishna is pleased, he'll reveal himself, and in that happiness of experiencing Krishna's pleasure, experiencing the happiness of Krishna's consciousness, then these things will just, all the things I thought I should worry about, some of them at least will go away. And then I can make further progress, because then we accept actually what we're really supposed to be doing here, chanting Hare Krishna without offense, simply trying to become conscious of Krishna and perform our service during the day in order to help us become conscious of Krishna. So I'll stop there. Think any questions or comments? Yes.
I have a question about the Mahamantra. So, do the words Hare Krishna and Rama just represent Krishna, or do they have a deeper meaning?
When we say Hare, Krishna Radharani is present. When we say Krishna, Krishna is present. Now, how much we experience Krishna's presence depends upon how present we are. Just like if you have a glove on your tongue and you eat some prasadam, you're not going to taste it. It's not that the prasadam is not tasty, it's that our tongue is covered, so we don't experience it. So because our consciousness is covered, therefore we don't experience Krishna when we chant Hare Krishna.
And what about Rama?
Same thing, Rama. Same thing.
Okay.
If we learn how to, if we chant happily, I mean, all of us, none of us would be here unless we got some experience by chanting Hare Krishna. Isn't that right? Now we were chanting water, water, water. We wouldn't be here. 16 rounds of water, water, water. Therefore, there must be something special about the holy name. Spiritual.
Thank you.
Yes.
Some explanation, talking Rama means Radha Krishna have meeting.
Maybe so many explanations. I don't know. But as far as
Wherever come, Radha Krishna have
That explanation I haven't heard, but I'm not so inclined to that explanation. Rama, as Prabhupada said, is Balaram, or Lord Ramachandra. Prabhupada, I never heard Prabhupada say about Radha Krishna meeting. I don't think we have to worry about that explanation. When we chant Hare Krishna, we're chanting to a person, Rama, not to a meeting of two people. We're chanting to Rama.
How connect Rama and Radhika? Rama, Radhe, Rama, Radhe.
What? I don't know.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Yeah.
You speak Rama is Balaram.
Yeah.
Radhe. Balaram, Radhe. Balaram, Radhe.
Radha.
There's no connection.
Yes, there is a connection. Radha, Hare means the energy of the Lord. So Balaram also has his own gopis. And so similarly, Lord Ramachandra has Sita as his energy. In any case, Rama also means the highest pleasure, so it could also mean Krishna. Yeah, but anyhow, I think we just have to chant and listen. And whatever knowledge, whatever we've heard from Prabhupada and from our scriptures, and as we remember it spontaneously. But in any case, that Krishna will reveal himself in some way to us. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna, so you said that we should pray when we're chanting.
We should be in that mood.
Yeah, so how can we get in that mood?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant Srimad Radharani, chant Krishna. If you're in front of the deities and you want to pray, you say, "Oh, my dear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please help me." You're in the mood of prayer. There's God. He can do everything for you. And you say, "Please help me." So if you're in that mood, it's a normal thing. If you believe Krishna is there, and Srimad Radharani is there, or Lord Balaram is there, you go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chant in the mood of praying to them. And happily, if you want loving service, then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So chant in as much feeling we can have, loving feeling. Engage us in your loving service. So that Krishna will give us the intelligence. We may not have it now, but if we try the best we can, then Krishna will help give us the intelligence by which we can improve. Anything else? Pahala Karandaraya Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Vimananda.
Pastor.
Sutega poznal tega, bo prišel.
Da, gospod, prosim, se je rekel.
Po mojem, veliko prišel so prevleko, bo še treba. Enkrat, spredim dobro. Kam on res ne mi želim nekako? Kako res ne mi želim nekako? Da bi bilo da čim Kaj pa če pojelaš v nekaj zver, to ga nas raznese, kaj se ti pa po krogu dvigne, kaj pa teži. Če ga ni.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare.
How's the manner? Okay. Got that? Oh.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Gyere ezután!
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Rama, Rama.
Non speak più deve fare.
No.
Non vado a questo, signore.
Oh, Pancharatva ki jai, Shri Gauranga ki jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Jai Shri Krishna ki jai. Danes se hvala šliva iz Kaholja.
Ne?
Ja, to so naravno. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Bom pogledati na internet.
Ja, ne, ti kar mantri.